Hey vinyl community, it's Dwayne Rock and Doc coming at you with another video. This time I'm going to show you some stuff that I picked up in Grande Prairie, Alberta, which is about an 8-hour drive from where I live in Lloydminster, Alberta. I went there to visit my daughter and my grandkids, spent a week there, and of course the first thing I did when I got there was look to see if there was any record stores there, and yes, there was two of them actually. One of them was called Manic Records, and I did go there and I bought a few things, but I have to say the guy that owned it had the weirdest pricing setup I've ever seen. I'll talk about it while I'm showing you the records. Everything had little colored stickers, those little round stickers, and they're all colored. Each color was a different price range. And I did, like I said, pick up a few things. This was I believe this was, I should have left the sleeves on all of these because you could see the stickers on them, but this was a red stickered one. So I paid like $50 for this. It's a double compilation called A Squared, which is, A Squared was a record label out of Detroit in the 60s that released some of the leading Detroit band singles. You may be familiar with some of them, like the MC5, the Frost, the Rationales, the Apostles, stuff like that, and then maybe some you don't know. There's the inner sleeve. But like I said, this was a red stickered one, and the deal with the red stickered ones is you could get either two blue stickered ones, which was the cheaper stuff. They were like $10, or one green stickered one, which the green stickers were, I believe, were around $20. So I picked up two blue stickered ones, two Rory Gallagher albums. I got these for free because I paid a little more for the red stickered one. So I got Photo Finish and Sinner and Saint. Great guitar player. If you've never heard Rory Gallagher, I highly recommend picking up something by him. Awesome guitar player. And then in the green stickers, I believe these were, so they were like in the $30 range, stuff like that. I did find Stone the Crows Continuous Performance. The C's missing, and they did that on purpose. I don't know why, but they did. This is an album that I've been trying to get a hold of. I've seen it a few times in Edmonton on my trips there, but every time I find this record, it's always trashed. So I'm glad to finally get a copy that's in fairly decent shape. And this was released in 1972 and had the great Maggie Bell on vocals. If you've never heard her, she's just an incredible vocalist. And the guitar player on this one is Leslie Harvey, who is Alex Harvey's brother. So glad to finally get a copy of the Stone Crows in decent condition. Also picked this one up, Fever Tree. This is their fourth one, I believe, also released in, no, this one I think was released in 1970. And I've seen other guys on YouTube talk about Fever Tree, and I believe it was their first one that people say was their best one, but like I said, this one is their fourth one. And the reason I picked this one up was they do a version of Hey Joe, and it takes up the whole entire B-side of the album. So I haven't listened to most of this stuff yet, so I'm hoping they do a really good version of Hey Joe, because that's why I bought this record. And then I picked this one up, Thunder Mug. They're a Canadian hard rock band from the 70s, early 70s, I believe. And I've been meaning to pick up some stuff by them, but I've always I've seen it around, but I've always kind of passed on it. So this time, because I the deal with, I think the green stickered ones was, like I said, they were around $30, but if you bought 3 of them, you got 3 for $75. So I picked this one up. This, I can't remember. I believe it might be their first one, called Strikes, and this was released in 1972. There they are in the back. And then I picked up, these were yellow stickers, and I forget what the deal was with the yellow ones. I think the yellow ones were in the $20 to $25 range, and if you bought 3 of them, you got them for $50 or something like that. So I got this one, Wishbone Ash, Raw to the Bone. This was released in '85. It's one of their later albums. Haven't heard any of it, but I love the artwork on this one. There's the band on the back with the track listing. Picked this one up too. Uli John Roth, Electric Sun, was what he was calling the band. You may be familiar with Uli John Roth. He was a one-time member of the Scorpions, and then he went solo with Electric Sun. This one's called Beyond the Astral Skies. And I had this one a long time ago, so if I remember correctly, because like I said, I haven't listened to any of this stuff yet. I believe he was, Electric Sun, he was doing kind of a Hendrix-inspired kind of spacey thing going on. There's some pictures of him on the back. So that's Uli John Roth. And then the blue sticker ones, I think, were the cheaper ones. They're all around $10. So I picked this one up because, like I said, it was around $10. This is Bertha, their debut album from 1972. They were an all-girl hard rock band. There they are in the inner jacket. There's the track listing on the back, and I believe they only released 2 albums before they split up. Great band though. If you're into that all-girl hard rock band stuff, I recommend this highly. Then I got this one, and he gave me this one for free because it was in pretty rough shape. This is the Whackers. It's called Hot Wax, and this is another album from '72, I believe. This was the band that Bob Segrini was first in before he went solo. There's the back. He was known as Robert Segrini back then, and I'm not sure which one he is. That might be him there, but I'm not entirely sure. So that was all the stuff I got at Manic Records in Grande Prairie. I did go into the other record store, which was a Sunrise Records store. And if you're familiar with Sunrise, When HMV went out of business, Sunrise took over in some of their locations. And they're a mall store, so you know what to expect. You know what kind of stuff you're going to get at a mall store is top 40 commercial crap. So they had a big sign in the window, and all the headers on the bins had the signs that said 20% off. And then there was a little line on the bottom in really small print that said if you bought over $100 worth of stuff. So I looked through most of the stuff, and most of the stuff was overpriced, and it was like I only saw really 2 records there that I would have bought if I didn't already own, and they were both Dwarf albums, and they were like the cheapest price they had there. I think they were $29.99, and everything else was like in the $45, $50, $55, $60 range. So no, I didn't buy anything at Sunrise. So that was, like I said, that was my findings in Grande Prairie. My last video, I was going to show you some other stuff, but it was getting too long, and I didn't want to do it on the last video because it would have made it way too long. So I'm going to show it now. This is if you saw my last video, you know I was talking about I've got a couple of record shows coming up in the next month or two. I've got one coming up in about 3 weeks in Saskatoon. It's on Saturday, September 21st in Saskatoon, the CFCR Record Fair. And the other one that I'm going to be attending is in October. It's the Edmonton Record Fair, which happens twice a year. This time it's the fall show is in October 13th, I believe. It's a Sunday. It's the Thanksgiving long weekend here for Canadians. So if you're in Saskatoon or Edmonton, come to one of the shows, say hi, and buy some records from me. Anyways, I did buy some wholesale stuff from Get Hip Records in, I believe they're in Pittsburgh, because I needed some more stuff, some new stuff, and I like to get like stuff, not the normal kind of stuff that most people might have, because I don't buy wholesale. When I buy wholesale, I don't get the common stuff like Queen, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Rush, that kind of stuff. Because whenever you do a record fair in the bigger cities, there's usually a couple of local record stores that have that kind of stuff, and they buy probably more stuff in a month or probably even a week than I do in a year. So they get way better discounts, and they can sell for probably less than I can. So I stay away from that stuff, but I do like to have some stuff that maybe they won't have. So like I said, I got some stuff from Get Hip, and and of course, like always, I had to get some extra stuff just so for myself, for my collection. So here's some of the stuff that I got from Get Hip that I decided to get for myself. This is a Japanese garage punk band, and sorry for the glare. Most of these are still sealed. I haven't had a chance to listen to them because I've been gone for a week. Anyways, this is Angel Face. They're a Japanese garage punk band. This is their debut album that came out this year, and it's kind of a Japanese super group. It's got one of the guys from Teen Generate and one of the guys from the Fadeaways. So there they are in the back with the track listings. Got this one, Sick Fits. This is their brand new one. It's called The Future is the Pits. And I first was attracted to this album for the artwork. I love the artwork in this thing. And they've got another, their debut album that I believe they released last year called We Fuck This City on Rock and Roll. And it's got similar kind of really crazy artwork like this one does. But they were out of stock on that one, so I wasn't able to get that one. But I did get this one. This is the brand new one. There's the picture of the band with the track listings on the back. And this one I did listen to. I had a chance to listen to one side of this one. I really like this. It's they're, if I didn't say at the beginning, they're from Australia. They're kind of a garage punk with a mixture of glam. So really great stuff. Hopefully I'll get a chance to get the first one too. So that's Sick Fizz. Then I got this one. This is a double compilation album, surf rock album compilation. Again, great artwork. This one's called Surf You Next Tuesday. And this was volume 2. I think they had another one which was only a single. This one's a double. More great artwork in the inner sleeve with the band listing and track listing. There's the outer sleeve. And this has got a lot of bands that sort of more obscure. These are modern kind of surf bands. There's a couple of Canadian bands on here actually. Mark Malibu and the Wasagas, who are out of the Toronto area, and the Green Reflectors are from Nova Scotia. And there's a couple other bands on here that at least I'm familiar with, like the Satan's Pilgrims, the Tremolo Beer Gut, the Roots, they're a Japanese band, and of course the awesome Russian surf instrumental group Messer Chubs are on here, and then there's a bunch of bands that I'm not really familiar with. Also got Classic. This is obviously a reissue. The original one of this came out there was their first album, I forget what year, 69 maybe or 70. But this is Uriah Heep. Very heavy, very humble. And I picked this one up because I wanted a copy that's in excellent condition, because like I said, this one's still sealed. And I have an OG German copy of this, but it's not in the greatest of condition. So now I have one and it's in excellent condition. And then I got this one just simply for the band name, the Trash Brats, and the picture of the band on the front. So they're supposedly kind of a punky, glammy kind of band, and I, just looking at the cover, I have a feeling they're going to be have a sound that's kind of similar to New York Dolls, but I don't know yet because I haven't listened to it. There's the back cover, and they're from Detroit, and I believe this stuff was recorded in the late 80s and was originally only available on cassette. Here's a Record Store Day one that I was looking for on Record Store Day but couldn't find, so now I have it. SRC, their reissue of their 1968 debut album, and this is supposed to be a psychedelic masterpiece. So I'm glad I finally got a copy because I couldn't find one on Record Store Day. There's the back with the track listing. And another band that I really like because I really like bubblegum rock is the Rubinoos. This is the album's called Hurts Too Much, and this is actually demos that they recorded in, I believe, 1979. It was demos they recorded for an album that never got released until recently. When did this come out? I think this came out a couple of years ago. But I really like these guys. Anyways, this is the Rubinoos. Hurts Too Much. There's the back with the guys and the back there. Another band that I'm really into, the Fuzz Tones, and this one is Leave Your Mind at Home. So this is I do have a lot of Fuzz Tones albums, but I didn't have this one, so now I have it. There's the track listings on the back. And then I picked up this one just because it's got the Link Petrucci, who is from the Fuzz Tones, in it. This is his band, the Raymen, and it's a live album called Drive It Live, but it's supposed to be pretty rough, so hopefully it's not gonna be too bad. There's some neat artwork on the back there. Here's some English all-girl band, garage kind of 60s girl group kind of sound to it. The band's called the Head Coatees, and I believe 3/4 of the girls in this band were girlfriends to the guys in the Head Coats. So that's why they're called the Head Coatees. But they put out, this one's called Girlsville, and I believe they put out like 6 or 8 albums. And then the Head Coats themselves put out a ton of albums. They've got so many I can't even remember the count that they have, and all the side projects they have. But anyways, this is the Head Coatees. This is one of the albums I was missing in my collection. I have a couple others, so I still need the rest of their catalog. And I believe they morphed into the Delmonas. So I picked up this one, The Dwarfs. It's a double compilation called Lick It. 1983 to 1986. Sorry, I need to get a drink here. And this is all going to stay in because I don't do any editing because I don't know how. But I picked this up because I still was one of the Dwarfs album I still needed. This is actually, I believe it's tracks from the first release they put out, and then some unreleased stuff and single tracks, I think. There's a picture of the guys in the back. And there was another double compilation that came out, I think it came out around the same time as this one, called Free Cocaine, which I have. And it's the same kind of deal. It's unreleased stuff and maybe some tracks from other albums, which I haven't listened to that one yet either, so one of these days I'll get around to listening to both of these. And then I picked up this DMC. This was their debut album. They were a punk band out of Boston, the Boston scene. I believe this came out in late 70s. I'm not sure if it tells you on here. Anyway, 78. But this is the reissue on music on vinyl. So I had the original of this, but I sold it long time ago. But I wanted to get it back, and I was kind of humming and hawing because although these music on vinyl reissues are great sounding reissues and really well done, they're really expensive. But I finally, because I got it wholesale, I finally decided to get it. And another music on vinyl one that I got is a Dutch band that were most well known from their stuff in the 60s and late 60s and on into the 70s. This is QB and the Blizzards with the album called Tripping Through a Midnight Blues. It's one of the early ones I don't have. And I think until recently they were still going, but with only one or two original members in it. But that's QB and the Blizzards. And lastly, I got a couple of Canadian things. This is a compilation called On Guard for Thee. And it's got bands, some of the better Canadian bands, punk bands that I like the Von Zippers and Huevos Rancheros, the Smugglers. Who else is on here that I know? Oh, Chicks Dig It and Bum. And then there's a couple other bands on here that I'm not terribly familiar with. And then I got this one. This is one of my favorite Canadian instrumental bands. They're called Huevos Rancheros. This is a live album. It's called Longo Weekendo Fiesta. And these guys are from, I think they're from Edmonton, or if I'm not correct on that, it's Calgary. It's either one or the other. They're either from Edmonton or Calgary. There's the track listings on the back. Huevos Rancheros, great instrumental stuff. If you like that kind of stuff. And I did pick up one single. The guy had some singles on the wall, and I saw this one. So I got this one. They're a punk band out of Cleveland, and this is released in 1996. Beatnik Termites. So that was it for my trip to Grande Prairie. And I always forget to show these when I'm showing albums. These are a couple of more things that I got at Get Hip for myself. The Downliner Sex single, Roses. And I got a Nomad CD. This is a Japanese CD called. It's actually, as you can see, it's kind of a take on Deep Purple's Made in Japan, because it's called Made in Japan. But if you look underneath, it says recorded in Sweden, because it's a Japanese release, but it's a live show they did in Sweden in '84, I think. Anyways, the Nomads, great Swedish garage rock, highly recommended. If you ever come across any Nomad stuff, which is a lot of times is hard to find, pick it up. I was hoping to get this on vinyl, but I think it's only been released on CD. Anyways, that was it for this video. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and hit that like button and whatever else is down there to underneath here. Just hit the like button and subscribe. Anyways, I probably won't be doing another video until I'm back from the CFCR Record Fair in Saskatoon on September 21st is when that's on. Hopefully I'll have some stuff to show you, which, yeah, I probably will. I'll probably buy some stuff while I'm there. Anyways, like always, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you again next time.